The Wet Tropics of Queensland World Heritage Area was inscribed as a World Heritage Property on the 9th of December 1988. 2013 marks its 25th anniversary. Stretching 450 kilometres along Australia's northeast coast, from Cooktown to Townsville, the Wet Tropics is famous for its spectacular scenery. Breathtaking vistas of rainforest, rugged gorges, wild rivers and cascading waterfalls attract many visitors and locals who want to explore and experience their natural environment. The Wet Tropics of Queensland contains most of the relics that exist on Earth of the flora of the Great Gondwanan forest that covered Australia 50 to 100 million years ago. All of Australia's distinctive marsupials and most of its other animals originated in rainforest ecosystems. These living relics provide a unique insight about the evolution of Australia's flora and fauna. The Wet Tropics is a place of intense biodiversity, with the highest concentration of primitive flowering plant families on Earth. It is but a tiny fraction of the world's tropical rainforests and is only about 0.1% of Australia's landmass. Though only listed for World Heritage Natural Values, in 2012 the Wet Tropics was added to the National Heritage List for its Aboriginal cultural values, finally recognising the continual connection for over 40,000 years that 20 rainforest Aboriginal tribal groups have to their country. The rainforests form the core of the spiritual, social and cultural beliefs and are vital to rainforest Aboriginal people's identity. This holistic approach to managing country reflects a deep traditional understanding of this vast cultural landscape, adding to the beauty and significance of the Wet Tropics. This region was one of the most populated areas in Australia and the only place where Aboriginal people lived permanently in the rainforest. Perhaps in the future, rainforest Aboriginal people may see their traditions and cultural values also recognised on the World Heritage List. When the first allocation of land was open to settlers in the late 1800s, they were required to clear and cultivate forested land as a condition of occupancy. While there is widespread recognition of the importance of conservation today, there was a time when there was a real possibility that the forests would be completely destroyed without anyone really understanding their intrinsic value. Australia's pioneering plant ecologists, Dr. Len Webb and Jeff Tracy of the CSIRO, were the first to recognise the scientific significance of Wet Tropics rainforests, christening it the cradle of the rainforest. The proposal to list the Wet Tropics as a World Heritage Area created controversy in North Queensland and around the nation. Campaigns were waged by various groups in support of their different beliefs. The fight, both for and against World Heritage listing, included blockades, protests, petitions and court cases. Wet Tropics Management Authority Board Director and Cassowary Award winner Dr. Rosemary Hill was one of the activists involved at the time.
In the 1970s, one of the big issues was the first opening up of Mount Windsor tableland. It was a virgin rainforest, so they started pulling out some very big logs, and that was one of the first issues that conservationists got involved in. I think one of the important things to understand though about the Wet Tropics conservation is that it really was a community effort that got the Wet Tropics protected, backed up by science, but led by the community.
Not everyone was pleased with the nomination of the Wet Tropics as a World Heritage Area. There was widespread community concern over the immediate economic and social costs of World Heritage listing. The region had a long-established logging industry, and many saw World Heritage as a threat to their livelihoods. World Heritage listing was opposed by the Queensland government at the time. After more than a decade of campaigning and an intense political struggle, the World Heritage Committee formally accepted the Commonwealth nomination, and the Wet Tropics was officially inscribed on the World Heritage List on the 9th of December 1988. It wasn't until 1990 that the Queensland and Commonwealth governments finally agreed to jointly fund and manage the Wet Tropics World Heritage Area. The Queensland Premier Wayne Goss and the Australian Prime Minister Bob Hawke signed an agreement which established the Wet Tropics Management Scheme. In 1992, a regional body was established in Cairns to manage the World Heritage Area, today known as the Wet Tropics Management Authority. Sustainability of our precious natural assets, such as our World Heritage Areas, involves everyone playing their part in cherishing, protecting, and managing these amazing landscapes. Our Wet Tropics Sanctuary continues to be under attack from a range of threats. Once clearing of forests and development were the major threats to the survival of rare habitats. Now fragmentation, climate change, and pests and diseases are major management concerns. The very people who helped get the area listed have inspired a new generation of green warriors who are working to save it for future generations, together tackling the big and the small things, allowing the whole world to appreciate its significance. The beauty and significance of these World Heritage forests are the region's #1 drawcard. Tourism opportunities allow visitors to experience the grandeur and learn about the outstanding universal value of the area. Let's meet the next 25 years with as much passion as the last.